Are Apple the good guys now? Yes, 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 I know. It sounds kind of crazy, and this doesn't come from particularly an Apple fan. But with how much craziness there has been going on lately in terms of prices for PC parts, especially RAM, storage, and GPUs, you take a look at MacBooks and, you know, they seem pretty appealing. Now, you add to that the fact that Windows seems to hate their customers more and more every day, and you have a very good recipe for success. I mean, from Apple's side, at least. Apple introduced the Neo to the lineup, and not only was it the most affordable and repairable brand new MacBook, I'm not sure in if in the entire Apple history, but at least in the last 15 years. Definitely, who would have thought that even on their wildest dreams, that Apple, of all brands, was going to be known for the repairable and properly priced products. But here we are. I personally just bought myself a MacBook, and so far I've been amazed by both its battery life and the performance. For context, I also built myself a gaming PC in November, and it has given me anything but problems. From Windows 11 constantly crashing every 2 to 3 hours to the US taking like 4 tries to even install it. It has been a painful experience. I mean, even DaVinci Resolve has worked horribly on there. I have to check on some settings because, again, it just felt so bad. But then again, we asked the question, are Apple the good guys? I personally don't like calling companies good or good guys because at the end of the day, they're still companies. They're still companies under a capitalist system. All they care about is raising their stock price and appeasing the stockholders. I think what we have here is a case of two events happening at the same time. The first one is the rest of the companies being so awful. Laptop manufacturers either chipping out and releasing very mediocre product or insanely overpriced good products. The second one being that Apple has actually released good products in these last couple of years. I just have to say, to be fair, Apple has done a good job at releasing good product. I know they messed things up with the M2 and M3 MacBooks, starting with 8 gigabytes of RAM and just being overall a very small increase in terms of performance. But then they redeemed themselves with the M4 MacBooks, and the M4 MacBooks are really awesome. Great battery life as always, great performance on battery, and yeah, just an overall really good product. They outdone themselves with the M5 MacBooks. Again, I bought an M4 MacBook this last Christmas because M5s hadn't released yet, and it was awesome, man. And I still think the M4 for most people is still good enough. It was a great performance, great device overall. Yeah, I mean, I know Apple has also some products that they have seemingly forgotten about. For example, the iPads, but that's just I think a trend in general. Tablets seem to be in this very odd spot where you either use them a lot and love them, or you basically have no use for them apart from being a much bigger phone. So yeah, the opinions are kind of a mixed bag. I personally use my iPad quite a lot because I teach classes online and I use the iPad to write there. I take my notes on it also, and that's pretty much it. I don't do much creative work on it. I don't do much drawing. Just in general, for example, something that really frustrated me about the iPad M4 and the subsequent release of the M5 is instead of just making the battery better, they chose to make the device thinner, which is a decision that I will never understand the reason for it. Because again, as a heavy iPad user, I mean, I constantly run out of battery on it. It's not as good, like the battery life on the iPad is not as good as a lot of tech YouTubers love to say. No, I constantly run out of battery on it, and I have to use it plugged in because the charging speeds are so slow. So again, instead of just making it faster to charge and have a better battery, no, they just made it thinner, and that was it. Now, when it comes to iPhones, I don't have much to say. I have the iPhone 16 Pro, and it's a really good device. Most phones, like from other companies in general, feel a lot more stale. Like you can hold on to a phone for 4 or 5 years, and you see the newest phone, and it doesn't look that different, doesn't feel that different. So yeah, I mean, iPhones overall have been doing good. I like my phone. I feel like it's a good phone. The camera is awesome. The screen is awesome. The speakers are awesome. Like I have no complaints in that aspect. The evolutions has been steady and kind of boring, to be honest, but that's the case for pretty much all phone manufacturers. Now again, the question we posed from the beginning of the video: are Apple the good guys? No, they're not the good guys. It's just that the other companies are just so freaking bad. Apple has done some good things, but they shouldn't have any reason to take credit for those things, because those were things that even other companies used to make just on a daily basis. That it was something that we would take for granted in terms of the products. For example, products being somewhat repairable. The other companies have gone the other way around. Lenovo and a couple other companies just make products that are a lot harder to repair every time, more and more. You have Nvidia on the other side just sucking up to the US government, and just their CEO talking on podcasts how it is freaking awesome to be part of the weapons revolution and to be part of the military industrial complex, and how is it an actual good thing to be part of it, because I mean, it's better for the US to have all that military might than any other country in the world, right? Doesn't matter how many countries we destroy or ruin. I don't care. I mean, as long as they keep buying my GPUs, I'm happy. And Apple are no angels, but they have been at least the slightly less worse option. I like the products, yes. Do I feel ashamed that I'm switching to a Mac after a lifetime of Windows use? Yes. But I just gotta take it with Windows. That PC, I mean, it has given me more problems than the problems that it has solved. And it wasn't cheap either, so I'm just gonna sell it, and I'm gonna get myself a MacBook Pro, because I don't play games anymore. Anyways, I don't have time for that. And if I want to play games, I don't know, I might just get an Xbox Series S or a PS5. Anyways, this has been it. If you have other opinions, just leave them down in the comments. That was something that I had to get off my chest, because I really felt like I needed to talk about it. Like the times right now are so bizarre that Apple seems like the value option. I never thought I would see that in my entire life, but here we are. The world, the world is so messed up. But anyways, let's keep surviving and see where this story ends.